Alright, what's going on, guys? Rich from Marble Custom Shop, and in this episode I'm going over all the parts I got here for the Loaded Miata build. Mike's over there doing lowering springs in his car. Say hi, Mike.
What's up, YouTube?
So yeah, all together, minus the ECU and all that stuff to get the car running optimally on with the turbocharger on it. It should be right around $600 for everything here. I got quite a good deal on a lot of my stuff here. Nothing is going to be exactly easy to put on because it's all custom, and that's part of the name of our custom shop. But let's see what we got here. Alright, so first part here, we got the OBX Greddy replacement downpipe. It's for the Greddy kit for the 1.6 Miata. But only thing that's really different is the flange on the back for the cat, but we're going to make a cat delete anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I scored this thing for it was $98, I believe, just around $100. I used a coupon code on it and everything. Now with that, you're going to have to use a custom Subaru flange. We're going to have to weld the flange.
Basically, we're just going to weld this flange onto this flange and trim this down as needed, because this is a 5-volt Subaru flange and this is like a 4-volt Greddy turbo flange or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna make the downpipe work.
Yeah.
So you want me to do it?
Yeah, sure.
So this is a 1.8 turbo manifold. Richard had this custom built
By Dan Strumpf.
Yeah.
I am Dan. I think it's like
65, 98 or something on Instagram. He's the guy that's done all the custom turbo bits and swaps for Haggard Garage and Racer Miata. He's local to us, so called him up, asked if he could build a manifold, and this is what we got. So it's a stock 1.8 manifold flange. It's a log style manifold that goes up to a 3-bolt TD04 style Subaru flange. So it's pretty nice.
Yeah,
It's
Dan's
nice
been really
and
helpful
flat.
on this whole build. Any questions I have, he's always quick to answer. So that's that.
And now we have, we'll do oil supply. So this is going to be the oil supply line for the turbo. This banjo fitting that goes into the turbo. This is a M10 by 1.5, I believe, banjo. Yeah, because water is M12 1.25.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this is an M10 by 1.5 banjo fitting that goes into a -3 AN PTFE line oil line, and this is the end that's going to be going into the block. Here we have a M10 by 1.5 to -4 AN fitting, and then from there we have a -4 to -3 AN adapter, so we can run this -3 AN line, so we don't have to use a restrictor for the oil feed on the turbo. So this just bolts into the side of the block. There's already a there's basically a fitting that you just unscrew from the side of the block, and that'll screw in there. This will bolt down into the turbo nice and flush. So that's that. That's oil feed. This is the fitting that we're going to be using for the oil drain, as well as the idle air control valve on the intercooler piping. And this is a half-inch NPT threaded to 5/8 slip-on fitting. Which
the only thing that we didn't get in yet is the tap. You're going to want to use a 1/2-inch NPT tap and a 23/32 drill bit. That's going to be the size you need to properly tap the oil pan.
Yeah, so basically that's going to be used to drill a hole in the oil pan. We're going to thread it, and then this is going to fit in there. So that's that. Obviously we just got a couple couplers to join the turbo to the intercooler here. Are these Mishimoto?
No, they're just the straight couplers are Mishimoto.
Okay. So yeah, that's that. Obviously running nothing but the best. We run this in all of our cars. Rotella T6 540.
Yeah.
Really good synthetic oil, especially for turbocharged cars. Go to the turbo.
Yep.
So here we have isn't this a Mitsubishi TD04?
Yeah, but it's off of Subaru.
Yeah. This is a Mitsubishi made TD04 turbo
So-
from a Bug-Eye WRX. Pretty basic, nothing special about it. Richard picked it up secondhand for pretty
$100.
cheap. It's got no shaft play, spins nice and free, so should be pretty mint. We just have this vacuum line running here because for the time being, until Richard gets a electronic boost control solenoid, we're just going to be running wastegate pressure. So that's that. Internal wastegate, of course, because it's easier that way.
Yeah. And some more random couplers and just a 3-inch air filter. And now we get to the water lines.
You're going to have to explain this one. Yeah, I'm not sure.
So for the water lines on this turbo, it uses M12125 water line fittings. Typically on Subarus I use banjo bolts, but on this I'm going to have to use these M12125 to 4AN adapters, and then I got some 4AN line I'm going to cut and just hose clamp on to the bitch hose on the Miata.
So you're like cutting this hose in half,
Yeah, basically.
and then it's going to get clamped in again. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the best way I found to do it.
What's the difference between this line and that one? Why does this one have this?
I have no idea. It was cheaper. We just got some collection of gaskets. I picked up these Subaru gaskets here. They came from China. They took like 3 weeks to get here, but they're cheap. And they're nice multi-layered steel gaskets, so I got those. And then I got a Felpro exhaust manifold gasket for the Miata. Got that. And then over here, the GM IAT sensor that's got to be welded into the intercooler piping and wired up and tuned for all that fun stuff. Got to do that pretty soon. I might just put into the stock intake for now just so I can get to tuning it and get that done, so it's one less thing to do. And here's enough water there.
So in Richard's previous video that's already up, he showed you how to install a water-to-air intercooler. So that's all taken care of. This is the actual intercooler itself. Obviously on each end we have bungs for water lines to go into that Richard already installed. Those are those clear vinyl hoses he has running through the car, and those are going to go here and here. Obviously inlet, outlet. One of these ends is just going to go straight into the turbo, and then the other end is just going to go straight to the throttle body. So yeah, definitely probably the easiest way to set up an intercooler on a Miata, because you're not running intercooler piping all the way up from the bottom of the car through the fender and all this shit. Literally just goes straight from the throttle body out and into the turbo. So that's that. Les pieces resistance. That's going to be the fun times. Turbo fun times, because everybody needs one of these in their lives.
So this right here is a Turbo XS knockoff blow valve. It's just eBay special. But the reason you go for these is there's no rubber diaphragms in them. It's just very basic spring inside and a couple O-rings. And it comes with different springs so you can set the tension, but it's probably the most simple blow-off valve you can get for cheap. I think I picked that up for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks, something like that. And it should make some nice noises.
I threaded it on wrong. Actually, didn't screw it all the way.
Yeah, that's that. And then we just got some intercooler piping. It's 2.5 inch. I'm sticking with 2.5 throughout the whole deal. So there's just aluminum piping. One end, on the turbo end, it's just going to go straight from the turbo into that and into the intercooler. And on the other end, it's got to go into the throttle body, and it's got to have a port for the IAT, the idle air control valve, and the blow-off valve. So we got a lot of threading, welding, all kinds of fun stuff to do on that. But yeah.
Gotta go on that 1-2.5 inch piece of pipe.
Yeah.
Fucking blow-off valve is gonna be like here. IAT is gonna be like on the other side. Idle air control is gonna be
Yeah, that's
gonna be messy, but
I mean,
gotta do it.
that's pretty much it though. And this is the last last little bit that we got.
Where's the flag for this?
It's in the box for it. So this is the thing I read online. It's how to bead your old intercooler piping. You just need a vice grip and some 2.5 inch or whatever size your intercooler piping is. Exhaust clamp. You just need the U-bolt part of it, or the U-bolt, but the seat part of it, and a large washer. And the way you assemble it is something kind of like this. You put this on here and the washer on the other end, and when you clamp it down, it actually puts a bead onto the pipe, and you just go all the way around the pipe and you bead your intercooler piping so it doesn't blow off on a boost. And that's pretty mad, won't you say, Mike?
Yeah, you could do that, or...
You weld the bead on too, but
Yep.
us and aluminum, we're not the best of friends.
Yeah, it's going to be kind of a pain in the ass because I'm not sufficient enough at welding aluminum yet. The only time I tried, I literally just melted the fucking aluminum. I could weld steel just fine with a TIG welder, but aluminum's a different story. It's a lot more difficult. So, I have to get some practice for all this aluminum welding that's going to have to be done.
Yeah, so we're going to practice that, but this is all the parts we got. Pretty much everything is set to go, ready to go, and we should be good to boost in a couple days. The countdown begins.
Down in what? 3 days?
3 days, 4 days, something like that. But yeah, all our parts ready to go. It's gonna be fun. So stay tuned for more on the Loaded Miata Turbo Build.